Docklands development is a Conservative politician's dream, built in a traditionally Labour area of London. It's been one of Europe's most highly politicised and unstable projects. More than £1 billion have been poured into London's East End to rejuvenate 22 hectares of mostly derelict land. It wasn't always a wasteland. The docks of East London were once part of the world's greatest port. From the early 18th century, ships sailed in from China and the tropics, laden with exotic cargoes. The hard work and tough conditions created a bond among the workers. But by the mid-60s, the docks faced a commercial decline. The introduction of containerization took away a lot of the workload. Then came the paralyzing strikes. The last dock shut down in 1981. Hundreds of thousands of jobs were lost. September 1940, and the drone of German bombers approached the East End. The Luftwaffe dropped thousands of bombs that killed hundreds and wounded many more. Night after night, residents were forced to live underground. After 9 months of continuous raids, the once proud docks were reduced to little more than rubble. Housing was also devastated, and many streets were never again the close-knit communities of pre-war days. Des Owers, a former dock worker, lives on the Isle of Dogs in the heart of the Docklands. He doesn't have much to say in favour of the development project.
I think they could have done more for the community than actually office work, because if all the industry went off the island, there was nothing built like industry for local people. There was nothing at all built at all, and I think it means nothing to the majority of the local people, this enterprise zone at all. Something looks nice, but I really, it's a white elephant myself. I can't see it lasting.
Developers hope Docklands will be a main financial centre for the European community. The London City Airport was built to attract European carriers. Developers hoping to attract thousands of employees have been accused of creating too much office space and underestimating demand for transport from people moving to and from work. Since there's no tube link yet, commuters have to rely on other methods like the river bus on the Thames. But the main form of public transport is the computerized and unreliable Docklands Light Railway. Some say the DLR is already unable to cope with the level of passengers. Skeptics say it can only get worse as more companies move in from the West End. Commuters seem to share the sentiment, despite the £4.5 billion already spent.
The only problem is communications, getting on and off this blessed place. Transport's a bit difficult.
It's a fantastic development and complex. Unfortunately, it's a bit difficult to get to.
It's brilliant once you get here.
But international companies are setting up here. Morgan Stanley, the powerful investment house, moved its staff of 1,400 to Cabot Square on Canary Wharf. Many workers say that despite the difficult journey to work, they prefer the high-tech building, staff restaurant and gym. Before, the staff was spread out at 5 different locations. Morgan Stanley wanted to combine their operations and swap less efficient offices for modern trading floors with banks of computers. The Daily Telegraph newspaper is now in the Docklands. And the international news agency Reuters has just moved into its new building designed by the architect Richard Rogers. Texaco plans to follow soon, as do American Express and the advertising firm Ogilvy & Mather. Many development projects were planned during the booming 80s. Despite London's obvious oversupply of office space, construction is still underway. Clearly, there's a sense that developers were far too ambitious. Cheap land and relaxed planning regulations invited speculators to build and expect huge profits. Rising interest rates and the recession meant disappointment. To-let signs are an all-too-common sight. Another problem, generous enterprise zone tax breaks available for the past 10 years could come to an end soon. This could push some recession survivors over the edge. Planners, anxious to fight the flagging economy, continue to lower rents. Critics say this further undermines the value of commercial property. Optimistic developers expected white-collar workers would want homes near their offices. Thousands were built, many remain unsold. Estate agents still claim that buyers get a lot more for their money here, but few have taken up the offer. The London Docklands Development Corporation now reports initial calculations for success were wrong.
Companies aren't moving in as quickly as they were in the boom years of 87, 88. The rate of house building, for instance, has also slowed down. So you're getting fewer companies, fewer people moving in, and that means that the program, which 10 years ago we thought we would need something like 15 years to regenerate London Docklands, may take now 20, perhaps 25 years.
Some sites are at the point of bankruptcy, like the London Arena concert venue. The most important symbol of instability is the titanic Canary Wharf complex owned by Canada's Olympia and York. 40% of its office space remains unlet. The planned extension of the tube into Docklands depends on the financially struggling company. It promised to put up £400 million towards the vital transport link. It seems the banks, not the developers, will now decide if London's city of tomorrow will ever be the city of today.